From Hollywood, it is the Newlyweds game. And here are today is Newlyweds. Couple number 1 got happily hitched 2 months ago, Veronica and Guy Williams. Couple number 2 recited their vows 14 months ago, Carrie and Chris Savage. Couple number 3 traded rings 15 months ago, Nicole and Jeff Collins. And couple number 4 celebrated their union 20 months ago, Michelle and Frank Felix. And now, here is the star of the Newlywed game, Bob Eubanks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello everybody. Welcome to the Newlywed game. We are going to say hi to our couples. You guys ready to play this game over here? Alright, we are going to start off asking the husbands some questions, which means that I do not want the ladies to hear the questions. So if you do me a favor, we are going to send you off to our soundproof room right now. While the ladies are leaving, I would like to remind our husbands I will be asking you some 5-point questions. You will be answering these questions as you predict your wife will answer the same question when she returns. Remember, if her answer matches your prediction, you get 5 points, coupled with the most points. At the end of the show wins a tremendous, fabulous second honeymoon. So the ladies are gone, and here is our first question. Gentlemen, if your very last hot and heavy romantic encounter together were turned into a play, which of the following will your wife say would get the loudest boos from the audience? Act 1, Act 2, the finale, or the encore? Which one of those would have gotten the loudest boos from the audience, Frank? Your last hot and heavy romantic session there. Frank thought for a moment and said he would say the finale. Bob asked if the audience would have booed the finale, and Frank confirmed it would have been very bad. Jeff was next, and he chose the encore, jokingly adding that there probably was not one at all. Chris considered the question and mentioned that this morning was a bit slow, so he chose Act 1 because they were tired and took a while to get awake, though it was great once they did. Guy concluded the round by also choosing the finale. Next question, gentlemen. What part of day will your wife say she finds it most annoying when you touch her? Jeff answered immediately that it is definitely the morning because his wife is definitely not a morning person and does not want to be bothered when she is sleeping. Chris agreed completely, stating his wife is also not a morning person and does not want to be touched then. Guy had a different take, suggesting late night as the most annoying time. Frank returned to the morning theme, explaining that his wife hates it when he crawls in and starts tickling her toes, which drives her bananas. Next question, gentlemen. How will your wife say you would complete this sentence? This is you talking. I hate to admit it, but lately my wife seems to have gotten a lot more blank and a lot less what. Chris predicted his wife would say she has gotten a lot more preoccupied with her weight and a lot less active at the gym. Guy thought his wife would say she has gotten a lot more stressed and a lot less happy. Frank suggested she has gotten a lot more fine with cleaning and a lot less worried about her weight. Jeff also went with weight as the thing she has gotten more of, combined with a lot less energy. Bob thanked the gentlemen and announced they would be right back to reunite the newlyweds and see what the wives would say after the messages. Welcome back to the Newlywed game. Gentlemen, we have recorded your predictions on cards and now have them in your laps. Each time that your prediction matches your wife's answer, you get 5 points. The couple with the most points wins a great second honeymoon. Here is our first question for 10 points. Ladies, if your very last hot and heavy romantic encounter together were turned into a play, which of the following would get the loudest boos from the audience? Would it be the encore, the finale, Act 1, or Act 2? Veronica started and chose Act 1. Guy had predicted the finale, so no match there. Veronica explained that Act 2 might be the real problem because while the beginning and end are usually clear, the middle can be a bit dull. Carrie said Act 1 would get the boos because the audience was booing like mad when it started, which matched Chris's answer perfectly. Nicole chose the encore, explaining that there simply was no encore because Jeff was sleeping through it. That matched Jeff's prediction of the encore. Michelle also chose the encore because she wants the romance to keep going and going, but Frank had predicted the finale. Michelle joked that she sometimes attacks him because he is romantic, even when he is pooped. Next question, ladies. What part of day do you find it most annoying when your husband touches you? Carrie said the middle of the day, but Chris had predicted the morning. Nicole said the morning because she likes her sleep, which was a match for Jeff. Michelle also said the morning, matching Frank's answer. Veronica chose the morning as well, but Guy had predicted late at night. Ladies, how did your husband complete this sentence? This is him talking. I hate to admit it, but lately, my wife seems to have gotten a lot more blank and a lot less what? Nicole suggested she has gotten a lot more moody and a lot less active in bed. Jeff had predicted more concerned about weight and less energy, so no points. Michelle thought she had gotten more energetic and active with a higher sex drive, while Frank had predicted more into cleaning and less worried about weight. Veronica said she was more energetic and less worried about weight, but Guy had predicted more stress and less happiness. Carrie said she was more stressed and less involved with herself, while Chris had predicted more preoccupied with weight and less active at the gym. Welcome back to the Newlywed game. Ladies, your husbands are now secluded off stage. It is your turn to predict what they will say for 10 points each. Who will your husband say is more popular with the opposite sex at parties? Would that be you or him? Nicole chose her husband, Jeff, because he loosens up and starts singing when he has a little alcohol. Carrie chose herself because she is energetic and talks to anyone. Veronica also chose herself, noting that people say she looks like Vanessa Williams. Michelle chose her husband because he will talk to total strangers in line for a long time, which she finds a bit embarrassing. Next question, ladies. What will your husband say is the last thing you made him wear that turned you on but made him feel really silly? Carrie guessed a collared shirt. Veronica guessed those really fitted t-shirts that show off his muscles. Michelle shared a very specific story about buying her husband leather G-strings with handcuffs on the front because he works in security. She said he finally wore them one day but was very bashful. Nicole guessed some boxers with a funky print. Last of our 10-point questions. Ladies, how will your husband say you would complete this sentence? Someone should do an infomercial selling a series of videos on how to blank because obviously no one has ever taught my husband much about it. Veronica and Michelle both said how to listen to me. Nicole said how to sing. Carrie said how to dust. Then came the 25-point bonus question. Ladies, in inches, what will your husband say is his inseam measurement? Michelle guessed 30 inches. Nicole guessed 34. Carrie guessed 36. Veronica also guessed 36. Welcome back to the Newlywed game. We are going to see how well the husbands do with these 10-point questions. Who is more popular with the opposite sex at parties, you or your wife? Chris said his wife because she is very outgoing, which matched Carrie's answer. Jeff said himself because he likes parties more, which matched Nicole's answer. Frank said his wife, but Michelle had predicted he would say himself because he talks to strangers about his work in security for the stars. Guy said his wife, which matched Veronica's answer. Next, what is the last thing your wife made you wear that turned her on but made him feel really silly? Jeff said silk boxers, which was close enough to the funny printed boxers Nicole mentioned. Frank immediately mentioned the black G-string with handcuffs in front, which was a perfect and hilarious match for Michelle's answer. Guy said he tried to wear her red underwear, which was a very different and embarrassing answer compared to the tight t-shirt Veronica had predicted. Chris said he wore a pair of her big hoop earrings, but Carrie had predicted a collared shirt. Next question. Gentlemen, how did your wife complete the sentence about the infomercial? Frank said how to clean, but she said how to listen. Guy said how to listen, which was a perfect match for Veronica. Chris said how to drive, but Carrie said how to dust. Jeff said how to listen, but Nicole had said how to sing. Before the final bonus, Bob announced the prize. The winning couple would go to Jamaica for a 6-night vacation at the Wyndham Rose Hall Golf and Beach Resort. Finally, the 25-point bonus question about the inseam measurement. Chris said 33, but Carrie said 36. Frank said 40, then corrected to 30, but Michelle had said 30. Guy said 36, which matched Veronica exactly, giving them 45 points. Finally, Jeff said 34, which matched Nicole exactly, giving them 55 points. Jeff and Nicole Collins are the winners and are going to Jamaica. Bob Eubanks thanked the couples and the audience, saying goodbye until next time.